So, uh, when you picture building wealth, you probably think of, like, chaotic trading floors, right?
Yeah.
Ringing balls, guys yelling at screens.
Yeah, total movie stuff.
Exactly. But the real battlefield isn't Wall Street at all. It's actually inside your own brain. Welcome to today's deep dive, where we're mapping out a really fast-paced, practical playbook for investment strategies.
Right, because every time you buy something, your brain releases a hit of dopamine. You are, effectively sabotaging your financial future for a quick thrill.
Right. It feels good in the moment.
It really is a biological battle, and since that dopamine spike is entirely chemical, the only way to beat it is, well, with biology. You just have to wait for the neurochemicals to flush out.
Which is where the 24-hour rule comes in, right?
Yeah,
Force a pause before buying anything non-essential.
exactly. You stop the impulsive bleeding first.
Okay, so you stop the bleeding, but then you need a system to manage what's left. And that brings us to the 50-30-20 rule.
Yeah.
So 50% for absolute needs, 30% for wants, and 20% strictly for financial goals.
Yeah, it's a really solid baseline.
It honestly reminds me of, like, inventory management in an RPG video game.
Oh, I like that. How so?
Well, you don't blow all your limited gold on useless cosmetic skins early on, right? Because if you do, you can't afford the top-tier gear you need to beat the final boss later.
That is a perfect analogy. And once you secure that 20%, you don't just stockpile it like digital gold. We need to activate compound interest.
The so-called eighth wonder of the world.
Right. The math behind exponential growth is staggering, but you don't actually need a spreadsheet to track it. You can just use a mental shortcut. It's called the rule of 72.
Oh, right, the 72 thing. So if I take the number 72 and divide it by my expected annual return rate, that tells me exactly how many years it'll take my money to double.
Exactly. It's a really clean way to visualize the timeline because time is the absolute heaviest hitter here.
Give me the numbers.
Okay, look at the raw math. If you invest just 100 Turkish lira a month, starting at age 16, assuming historical returns, you'd have over 1.4 million lira by age 65.
Wow, just 100 lira.
Right. But if you wait until age 23 to start that exact same habit, you end up with only 743,000 lira.
Wait, really? A mere 7-year delay costs you half your wealth.
Literally half. Yeah.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. The math is great,
Yeah.
but who actually had the discipline to invest at 16? I mean, I certainly didn't. So if I'm starting at 30 or 40, is the compounding window just completely slammed shut?
Not at all. That's a huge psychological trap. It's what we call the butterfly effect of investing.
Like small actions creating big ripples?
Exactly. It's not just about the money multiplying, it's about the behavioral mechanics. Small routine actions today create massive waves later, like skipping a daily coffee and routing that money into an investment account.
It builds the automation habit.
Yes. It doesn't matter your age. The mechanism only works if you start the compounding cycle now.
Okay, so assuming you're using things like ETFs for baseline diversification, how does the 50-30-20 rule actually shift as we age? Like, what's the tactical evolution here?
Well, your 20s are purely defensive. You're building an emergency fund and crushing bad debt, like high-interest credit cards.
Because credit card interest will always outpace whatever market returns you're getting.
Right. Then, in your 30s, your earning potential usually grows, so you step up that savings rate toward 30% and you lean heavily into equities.
And then by your 40s, the strategy shifts toward tangibles.
Yeah, you push toward 40% savings and start consolidating tangible assets like real estate, because you're transitioning from wealth accumulation to wealth preservation.
You want assets that pay you to own them, like
Yeah.
passive income.
Exactly.
Let me throw a quick scenario at you, though. Say I'm looking at my portfolio, and I hold individual stock in a shoe company for 2,500 lira. They drop a new sneaker, it totally flops, and the stock tanks to 2,200 lira. I'm so tempted to just dump it and cut my losses.
I mean, if you sell in a panic, you just lock in a temporary loss. That's just standard market volatility. And honestly, this is exactly why we use ETFs instead of individual stocks.
Because it spreads the risk out.
Right. Think of an ETF like the hull of a modern ship. If one compartment...
Like the shoe company.
Exactly. If that gets flooded, the whole ship doesn't sink. The risk is compartmentalized across hundreds of other companies.
So you're playing the macroeconomic long game, not gambling on a single product launch.
Exactly.
All right, so our rapid-fire roadmap is pretty clear. Beat the dopamine trap with the 24-hour rule, master your inventory with the 50-30-20 budget, and let time do the heavy lifting through EPFs and age-appropriate allocation.
Yep, that is the playbook.
But it all comes back to what we said at the start. The real battle happens in your brain.
Which kind of leaves us with one final realization.
Oh,
Stocks, real estate, compound interest, they are incredibly powerful mechanisms.
absolutely.
But the ultimate crash-proof asset is investing in your own financial literacy. Markets will always correct, sectors will rotate, but your personal skills and analytical knowledge.
Nobody can take that away.
Right, a market downturn can never erase your skills. So just keep leveling up.
Keep leveling up. I love that. Something for everyone to think about. Thanks for tuning into this deep dive.